Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, my friends. I greet you all today truly with the joy of the Lord. Uh, I'm gonna wait just a minute here. Uh, Give a few folks a minute to realize I'm out here, but then I'm gonna move on because this will be posted even after I'm done. But I just wanted to jump out here and really share a more recent praise report of the amazing thing that God is yet doing in my life. Uh, Man, I tell y'all, at times I feel like I'm in a dream state, but I know I'm alive and I'm well, and that it is nothing but the Lord's doing. And so I'm just extremely excited about what God is doing in my life, and really wanted to jump out here and share that with you all. On yesterday, I was on my way to work, and I stopped at a Sonics down the street from my job to pick up some lunch. And while I was sitting there waiting on my food to come out, I got a surprise text message that I had no reasons to even be expecting this text message. But it was a text message from my pastor, Pastor Gina Stewart. At that time, they had just been back in town from South Africa just a couple of days. So the last I had seen or heard from her was when her and other church members went out of town to go to South Africa. And so upon her coming back on yesterday, she texted me and she cut right to the chase. And I'm gonna pull the text message up because I want to read it verbatim. It was short and to the point. She said, "Hey Richard, are you willing to preach at 10 a.m. worship next Sunday, which would be the 30th?" I sat there in the car in just total disbelief. I kept looking back, making sure I read it right. And then I eventually texted her back and I told her, I said, "Wow, I would be honored." And she said, "Great." And then she gave me the time frame of which to be prepared to preach for, which is basically a full-fledged sermon. I'm thinking initially I was going to be doing a sermonette with other ministers, but I will actually be the primary preacher for that Sunday, which is the 30th of this month. And I told her, "No problem. Thank you for the opportunity." And she texted me back and said, "You're welcome. Thank you for your faithful commitment." That may seem simple to some people, but there's a story behind that story. And I'm not going to really get into that tonight. I just really wanted to jump out here and just share a tidbit of something. But kind of the way I'm going to manage all of this is after I preached on the 30th. Sometime either that Monday or that Tuesday, I'll do a live session and I'm going to give people the story behind the story. There's a story behind that story that is just amazing. That's phenomenal. But I will give y'all this tidbit on tonight. I told you all that I shared before online that God was doing some amazing things in my life. But I wasn't privy to actually start articulating all of everything that's going on in my life right now, because I don't want to ever jump ahead of God. I want to stay in sync with where He is and allow Him the time to do what it is that He's doing. You already are aware about the book project that is kicked off in my life. The book that I'm writing, and I actually have already posted some short excerpts out there for your reading, and so things are really, really going well with that. It's like I shared with a friend of mine earlier today. We were talking on the phone. I told him, I said, never in my wildest dreams would I ever I could have never dreamed in my wildest dreams that I would actually be penning a potential book, that I would actually have that much to say in writing and be that well versed and that in depth in the content that I'm writing. And I told him I attribute that to nothing and nobody but God in my life. You know, I share with you all the title of the book. The title of the book will be, it already is from my standpoint, but when in its finished product, the title of the book will be called Unchained, a Spiritual Awakening in the Life of a Black Man. And it's really a chronicle of the spiritual journey that God has carried me through in my own life. And it's a lot of vital lessons, a lot of vital spiritual life lessons that God has revealed to me on this journey. There's some things that I've learned experientially, some things that I learned through what I experienced in life. But then there are a lot of things that I've learned through observation, as well as what I have learned through doing a lot of critical reading and researching. The amount of work that I'm putting in on this book project is, in my mind, equivalent to somebody that would be seeking a major degree in seminary. This is not a school project. This is a God project. And therefore, I'm following his lead. I've got a journal app, both on my phone and on my tablet. And I love this app because, and then I can log into it online on my laptop. So I like this app that I use because it allows me to sync my information between multiple devices. And so that means I'm never apart from my content that I'm working on. And I always have a device somewhere close by to capture those inspirational thoughts that God reveals to me throughout the course of any given day. And so I'm loving this journey that I'm on right now, man. I was, out of all the things that I have witnessed God doing in my life, Pastor Stewart asking me to preach on the 30th of this month was the one that floored me the most. It was a very humbling experience to have her to extend that opportunity. And it's something that I don't take lightly. I don't take it for granted. And, all I can say is, to God be the glory. I told you there's a story behind that story. I will give you this tidbit of that. I'll give you a piece of the story behind the story, but I really want to reserve the meat of that for what I'm going to share in a live session on that following week after I deliver the message. This piece that I'll give you tonight, what was astonishing about it is that God had revealed this opportunity to me in a vision months ago. I kid you not. I would not get on here and lie to you about this. God had revealed this vision occurred to me months ago. I saw myself in the pulpit preaching. Here's the catch. The thief or the enemy, I allowed the enemy too much airspace in my head. And as a result, he basically led me to believe that, man, that's just a figment of your imagination. That's you sitting around daydreaming. Now, doggone well, that ain't fig happen. So you just need to, it look good, don't it? Keep dreaming, my brother. And so I never really gave it a second thought beyond that. And to my amazement, now I know for myself without a shadow of a doubt, which I already knew. But every time we have a new encounter with God, it deepens our faith. It deepens it gives us a greater depth and appreciation for who God is in our life. Because in spite of me, even though I allowed the enemy to rob me of that revelation, God would not let it end that way. Because of God and his faithfulness, God would not allow his plans to be thwarted, the plans that he had in store for my life. And there are some other things that the Lord has shown me that I know it is the Lord's doing that I won't speak on tonight. But all I can tell you all is I know now without a shadow of a doubt that the best is yet to come. God is getting ready to do some amazing things, but not only in my life. I posted online a couple of days ago that God is getting ready to do something that's going to catch a whole lot of people by surprise. This opportunity in my life is one, but it's small in comparison to what I believe that God is getting ready to do in our midst. And so I sit here before you this evening as a living testimony that regardless of how chaotic your life may be, regardless of how chaotic the world that we're living in right now may be, we serve a God who is able to do some phenomenal things. And we serve a God who is able and willing to elevate us and equip us and empower us with what we need to not only just survive, but to thrive, even in the midst of the chaos. So that's all I really wanted to get on here and share with you all on tonight, my friends. I appreciate the love and support of many of you all. I've spoken with several of you all earlier today, and I had saints who we've been praying, and they prayed over me, and so I thank God for the true prayer warriors that saw it fit to just pause and pray over my life and thank God for what they see God doing in my life. I rejoice on today for what he's doing in my life. But more importantly than that, I rejoice because we serve a risen Savior and that he is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask, think, or imagine, according to the power that is at work in us. God, I'm so excited. And I'm not just talking about the preaching opportunity. I'm just excited about the life that I'm living. I'll say it this way. The enemy should have left me alone while I was wallowing in self-pity, while I was wallowing in self-esteem issues, while I was wallowing in thinking that I was in the world all alone, mama gone on to be with the Lord, daddy gone on to be with the Lord, my baby sister gone on to be with the Lord, my auntie gone on to be with the Lord. He should have just left well enough alone on his part while I was wallowing in all of that, trying to make sense of it. But God has birthed a new thing in my life. As the title of the book suggests, the Lord has created a spiritual awakening in my life. And now I'm on a divine mission to do and carry out his will for my life. God bless you, my friends. I love each and every one of you all. I am going to start the daily, not daily, but I am going to start the time of prayer back. It won't be daily, because I'm having to do some serious time management on a day in and day out basis. For starting it back up, it probably will only be one day a week, which means I will probably do it on a Monday and pray for people and situations throughout the week for the rest of the week. But just stay tuned. You're going to start seeing some format changes on some things that I'm doing on my Facebook page. My Twitter account, my YouTube account, all of my social media accounts that I have up and running. They're all going to be utilized for ministry. Stay tuned. There's more to share with you about that. I ain't ready to put all that out there yet, but just to let you know, it's coming. It's coming. I'm out of here. I'm finna go and kind of relax. It's been kind of an intense day, and so I want to kind of lay my head on a pillow. No, I ain't finna go to sleep, but I am finna get some rest and get prepared for worship in the morning. I'm excited because one of the new members at my church, one of the young men whom I mentored through the new membership process, God put it on my heart to reach out to him. And as a result, we're back reconnected. And he asked me, he texted me, he actually called me earlier tonight and asked me if I'd be willing to come pick him up for church in the morning. I said, man, that ain't nothing but a word. And so I'm just excited, man, because I see the lives of young people that I'm involved with being transformed. I mean, being transformed. And it ain't about me. It's about the presence and the power of God working in and through my life. And so I'm learning more each and every day what it means to be submitted to him, and learning how to be open to whatever he would have me to do, regardless of how foolish it may look in the eyes of people. I used to be, I got hung up on that for a while. I ain't hung up on that no more. Y'all looking at a man that is free. I am free. I am free in the Lord. And I know that I'm gonna be like, the ugly duckling. I'm gonna be the one in the midst of many people that won't necessarily always fit in. But I thank God for that deliverance in my life. I thank God for that spiritual awakening in my life, in which now I've grown to learn how to accept that. So I don't know how much time I got left in this life. None of us do. And because I don't know, I will not allow another day of my life to be wasted. Every day of my life, I want to utilize it, that he might get the glory out of the life that I'm living. And that prayerfully, people will find a source of hope through the words that I say or the relationships that I establish. This is my way of being a change agent in the world in which we are living. And every now and then I may have to come off sounding a little controversial when I'm challenging the people of God to rise up and become more than what we are, to rise up and be the people that God has called us to be. God didn't call us to do church. He called us to be the church. And that don't mean we're going to be perfect. That don't mean we're going to always get it right. But at the end of the day, I believe when our hearts are in the right place, when we have a real, sincere desire to love God, to worship God, and to seek opportunities to serve and minister into the lives of people, I believe that's when real change will start to take place in our world. It's time out for us, y'all, going through the motion. We can't afford to just go through the motion. I'm done, I'm done speaking the narrative, being pulled into the narratives about the issues with regarding Donald Trump. He is an issue. He's a thorn in our side. But at the end of the day, the God that we serve is able to humble that brother. And so I ain't worried about him. I ain't gonna lose no sleep over him. He just a little imp being used by the enemy. But the God that we serve, if we really believe what we profess that we believe, we will see real change begin to take place. That's all I'm gonna share, my friends. If I will post a written reminder out there as we get closer to the 30th to invite you all out to come and participate with us in worship. Please come any Sunday. I invite you any and every Sunday. If you don't have a church home, I invite you to come and worship with us at Christ Missionary Baptist Church. But on the 30th of this month, God has graced me with an opportunity to be the preacher for the hour on that day. And so I am thankful for it. And I'm just looking forward to what God is going to do on that day. So I thank you all for tuning in. I will continue to share some other excerpts from my book as God gives it to me as it unfolds. And the closer I get to finishing it, y'all gonna know it. You gonna know the day I finish it, because I'm gonna shout glory so loud all of Memphis would hear me on that day. So I just praise God for each and every one of you. Some of you all I look forward to seeing real soon. And I'm getting ready to bring up another website on Facebook promoting my computer business. So I'm gonna throw that out there. That's already off the ground and running. I'm still fully employed with the company, but I'm doing my own little computer business on the side. So if you have any computer related issues, feel free to hit me up. I'd be more than happy to serve you. My prices are more than affordable. And so, and I'm taking the advice now of my financial advisor, Mr. Ryan Ely. And he told me, he said, man, don't be afraid to ask folks for their service, for their business. So I'm throwing that out there for your hearing to know that, I have started my own computer business on the side, RTE Computer Services, and you will see an invite to my Facebook page promoting that sometime next week. And I'm just looking forward to even what God is going to do with that business venture. So you all take care, my friends. I love you all. Thanks for checking in. I will see you all at a later date. God bless.